What can I do for you, lover?
Um, I wanted to see about getting my pay for last week. Remember, I worked 2 days last week, and I was supposed to get $12 a day for it.
As I remember, you were paid for 2 days.
Well, I didn't get $24.
The 1970s, is a really important decade for film. But for me, it's most important because it kind of birthed what we consider women's filmmaking. One of these filmmakers that I think is probably one of the most groundbreaking and really inspired other women to start directing was Barbara Loden. Her film Wanda is kind of considered a landmark in second-wave feminist film. This is a film that was done on a very low budget, shot on 16mm with a 4-person crew.
They'd be better off with him.
What?
They'd be better off with him.
You have no objections to this divorce?
No, I don't have any objection to it.
Wanda was a huge success upon its release. It was the only American film entered that year into the Venice Film Festival, and it did win a Special Critics Prize. Despite being critically praised, Wanda disappeared for a number of decades and was really, really hard to see. That is until recently when major restoration efforts has actually made Wanda available to see in the way that Barbara Loden wanted it to be seen. And now we're really happy that we can have this on Hollywood Suite in a gleaming 2K restoration. With Barbara Loden making Wanda in 1970, I do think it inspired another milestone in women's filmmaking, and that is Jeanne Dielman from 1975. Jeanne Dielman is directed by the Belgian filmmaker Chantal Akerman. It takes place over 3 days, and it shows the life of a widowed mother in Belgium. And we go through the monotony of her daily tasks, preparing breakfast, cleaning the house, and it turns out she's a sex worker, which was a common reality for women in Europe after World War II, especially widowed women. Jeanne Dielman, like Wanda, really focuses on a woman that kind of falls between the cracks. There's not a lot of drama in these films, and yet they're riveting because there's such a focus on these intimate, small moments.
Je faisais les factures en face, mais j'étais très mal payée. Et chez les tantes, c'était triste. Je savais pas si j'avais envie de me marier, mais de toute façon, ça devait se faire. Tout le monde le faisait. C'était dans l'ordre des choses, comme on dit.
Another really important film that appears in the 1970s with a woman behind the camera is Agnes Varda's One Sings, the Other Doesn't.
On verra plus tard. On verra si tu réussis mieux avec tes enfants.
Ah bah j'ai d'autres projets, figure-toi.
One Sings, the Other Doesn't is a musical. It's sort of a French, take on the musicals that we grew up with, like Singing in the Rain. Agnes Varda chooses a subject that's very close and personal to her life and to what she saw women going through in 1977. This is a musical about abortion. At the time that Agnes Varda made the film in 1977, abortion was illegal in France, and it led to a lot of health crises in the lives of women. There were a lot of protests around this at the time, and she thought, what better way than to make this very bright and colorful, loving musical about what women go through and what their bodies go through when they don't have the right to choose.
Être plate ou ronde, j'ai le choix. Mon corps est à moi. Mon corps est à moi.
So of course you're going to see scenes of Paris, that's not surprising, but we also get to travel to the south of France, to Amsterdam, and most significantly to Iran in the late 1970s. The Iranian sequences are stunningly beautiful, and if there's any reason to watch this film, this is one of them. Second-wave feminists in the 1970s were really debating who to advocate for. Do you advocate for the extraordinary, the girls that are wanting to just go through school and educate themselves and become artists and activists, or do you advocate for the unseen, the women like Wanda or like Jeanne Dielman? And what's interesting about One Sings, the Other Doesn't is Varda manages to elevate both. The character of Suzanne, she's much more the unseen, like Wanda. She's a single mother who is in need of an abortion because she can't afford to raise her third child. But when you have the character of Pauline, she's radical by the time she's a student. It's not surprising that she becomes this sort of folk singer who dedicates her traveling band to advocating for women's rights to choose. And so you see Varda kind of capture both circles of what second-wave feminists were talking about. And what's so great about this film is you see that the only way that both are elevated is by supporting each other.